We are overwhelmed, Lord Sauron. The dwarves are securing the elves' retreat. If we pursue, many orders.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you again. And Screen Rant has been very kind to this show and really appreciate it.
We love this show. I love this show. I see I'm recording, so we will keep this ball rolling.
Okay.
One of my favorite moments, I will say, in this show was Galadriel and Elrond's kiss, because it was just such a surprise to me, something I did not see coming. I'd love to hear about crafting that scene, you know, especially because Tolkien fans like myself know about Celeborn in the future, so they might see that and go, is there a plan to move away from that canon?
To our minds, the kiss is not romantic in nature, but also he loves her and he's very scared she's going to die, and he needs to create a distraction to slip her a way of breaking out of her locks. And this is an expression of his love and regret and apology for starting to realize that he was maybe wrong about some of the things she was, arguing earlier in the season. And I don't know, it grew organically out of the material and felt like where it wanted to go. But certainly it does not augur a romance between these two friends in the future.
Yes, there's definitely a very deep platonic love there. That moment definitely still feels that way.
Elves, express their love in different ways.
That they do. And then another big thing as well.
A little more European, yes.
Yes, a little more European. So another big thing, obviously, this season, we finally have confirmed the stranger is indeed Gandalf. And I would love to hear not only about the creation of that moment in the writing process, but also when you both determined that this was the right time to do it amidst your, the reported 5-season plan for this show.
So we wanted it to be a journey of discovery for the audience, the character, and for ourselves. And we truly left ourselves open. We said we were bringing this to Middle-earth. We had some suspicions from the beginning of who it might be. But I think especially as the friendship between he and Nori and Poppy grew to be so rich, we said, Gandalf loves halflings. And here's, Saruman doesn't really love halflings. He sort of, speaks about them really dismissively, and Radagast doesn't seem to feel much one way or another about him. The blue wizards are, often, and so we felt like it really sort of made sense if you were looking at canon, where this character would ultimately go. And then also just, what our wonderful actor Dan Wayman kind of brought to it, felt like that also felt it made sense. In terms of the decision to do it now, it's been a journey of self-discovery for the character, we felt like season 1 is all about him figuring out, what am I? Am I good or am I evil? I don't know. Now that he figures out he's on the side of the good, it's like, well, who am I and how do I harness my powers? So he goes on this journey to eventually reach Tom Bombadil. It felt like, that journey of staff and name and figuring out how to control powers all felt like they sort of wanted to come together. And then once, because we also didn't want to tease it forever of season 4.
Yeah, in our minds from the beginning of season 2, we're showing you the hand of poker, right? There should be no doubt in most of the audience's mind by those first couple episodes. We're dropping all kinds of hints. Yes, that's who he is. Don't worry about that. It's about what he's learning about who he's going to be that is more important than just a name.
No, I like the way you handled that mystery this season. And I remember when we spoke last that, yes, you told me, you're like, you're going to get the answers. Don't worry. And it did make the journey far more rewarding. With that said, though, I would love to hear, we haven't heard anything about a season 3 yet. I'm kind of surprised. Do you guys have a timetable for when you might start working, whether it be writing or filming for potential?
We're working on it.
We're working now.
We're prepping now very, very intensely.
That's all we can say.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't want to get you in trouble. I don't want to get me in trouble. So I will take that happily because that makes me very excited to hear. So one thing about this season as well I found surprising was that the latter half really sort of shifted away from Numenor, despite that first half really building up the tension of the politics there. Is that going to sort of come back into a bigger spotlight coming into the future of the show?
I think that, what we can say is, from the very earliest days of talking about the epic project of this whole show and the full mega epic, as we called it, we always liked the idea that it was this vast ensemble and different characters would emerge or maybe recede a little depending on the story being told and the season. I think it's true that Numenor was not always the central focus of season 2. The central focus of season 2 was really more about the creation of the rings and the Sauron and Celebrimbor story. But there's some really important things happening over in Numenor, and Numenor's story is only beginning.
I like the sound of that. I can't wait to see what comes from it next. I think I've got enough time.
We love those actors. We love that world. Yes.
I think I've got enough time for one more question. So I'd love to ask, what's going to be one of your favorite things that you get to introduce in the future, even if it's not in necessarily season 3?
We can't. Middle Earth is a vast place with many wonders uncounted. Is all we can say.
I will happily take that. You have so much lore to work with that you can spoil anything by accident with a reveal. So I could appreciate that. But guys, thank you so much for taking the time. I look forward to always keeping the word alive about this show. And hopefully we get to talk again coming into season 3, because I know you've got some exciting stuff cooking for it.
We do. It's going to be really good. It's going to be awesome. Really good. We're excited.
It is not my wish to harm you.
Do you wish to heal me?
I wish to heal all Middle Earth.